So go to chapter 20 in business, training. So when we talk about training, training simply means improving the skills and knowledge of employees. So you are being trained. So when you are being trained, it simply means you start knowing what you don't know. That is what training will bring about. You get it?
Yes.
You won't be trained on what you already know. You'll be trained on things you are about to know or things that is important for you to know. So that's why training will improve the skills and knowledge of workers. Do we understand what training is here?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we have three forms of training. We have on-the-job training, off-the-job training, and induction. When we talk about on-the-job training, it's simply talking about you being trained within the workplace or the work environment. For off-the-job training, it simply means you are being trained outside of the organization by maybe specialists or colleges. And for induction is a training you have because you are a new recruit. It's a form of training that introduces you to the work or to the practices of the organization. So we start with on-the-job training, just an introduction. So we'll go to on-the-job training anyway. So for on-the-job training, I wrote, this form of training occurs within the premises of the organization. The trainer is likely to be an existing employee. So who is going to train? For on-the-job training, it means you are going to be trained by an existing employee. So like maybe I'm new in here and I have to be trained within the premises of the school. So who is going to train me? An individual that I meet in the organization. So it's an existing employee. Do you understand what an existing employee is here?
Yes.
The employee that the new recruit is meeting. The employee that has experience and has been in the company for a long period of time. So that is what on-the-job training is. Do we understand on-the-job training?
Yes.
Good. So what are the methods of on-the-job training? The first one, watching another worker. When you talk about watching another worker, I wrote, the new recruit watches over an experienced and competent employee by copying his or her action. So here, as I am new, I just have to watch over an experienced employee. I just have to watch over an experienced employee based on what he or she does. So I shadow him or her to whatever he does, I do. That is what watching over is. Do you understand watching over here?
Yes.
You are shadowing an experienced employee to copy whatever he or she does. That is watching over. Is it clear?
Yes.
The next one, mentoring. For mentoring, the trainer is experienced and is competent. So what you do is you spend some time with that trainer. You are the trainee, so you spend some time because you're a new recruit. You spend some time with the experienced or competent employee to see what he does or what she does before you start doing your own thing. Do you understand what mentoring is here?
Yes.
You spend some time with an experienced and competent employee. The third one, job rotation. For job rotation, it simply means you'll be moved from one department to another. So you spend time in different departments to understand the work and practice of those departments.
Yes. What's the point of if you're going to be only in one of the departments?
What? This?
Yeah, look for job rotation.
Yes.
If you're going to be in one department only, why do you need to level up?
That brings about flexibility. Because training will bring about flexibility anyway. With training, it means you become flexible, you become exposed to things you don't even know. So working in all departments increases or improves your knowledge. So I might be in the business department or finance department, but having knowledge about logistic department is good for me because it increases my human capital. You're adding value. Knowledge is power. So there's nothing you learn that is not going to be useful. Do I answer your question?
Yes.
Good. So for job rotation, it means you go through different departments. You spend time in different departments, and that gives you the flexibility to know more. What are the advantages of using on-the-job training? The first one, output is produced as workers are present at workplace. Because the trainer and the trainee are at the workplace, it means they will still produce goods or services. Do you understand the first point here? Because you are being trained within the organization, it means despite going through training, you will still be producing an output. Do you understand the first point?
Yes.
Are you guys understanding, please?
Yes.
Okay, so the second one, the training is relevant as employees are actually trained on the specific job. So it means because you are not out of the organization, you are being trained within the organization. It means whatever you are being trained on is relevant, is important for your organization. And it is what you need to know. So you are being trained on what you will actually do. So that makes it relevant. Do you get the point?
Yes.
The third one, it is easier to organize. Because it's within the organization, the management knows about it, it will be easier to organize. Unlike if it is off-the-job training, where you have to make arrangements, sign a contract and the rest. It takes time. But here it saves time and it is easier to organize. Do we understand?
Yes.
Because it's the organization that is carrying out it out. And the last one, it is cheaper than other forms of training. It's the cheapest anyway. Because if you have to use off-the-job training, you have to be trained by businesses that specializes on training. So you have to pay them more. Do we understand?
Yes.
Any question about the advantages of on-the-job training?
No.
Can we go to the disadvantages now?
Yes.
Good. For disadvantages, the first one, output may be lost if new recruits make mistake, or the time taken by the experienced employee to put the new recruit through. So there are two things here. Because you are new to the job and you're being trained during the job, you might still make mistake. Do you understand? And making mistake means you have to start over again, because customers will not buy goods that have defects. So it means you have to rework it. So output is lost there. You are wasting resources. Do you understand the first point here? Do you understand or not? The second one is about the trainer. Because it's taking time to train a new recruit, he might have to spend more time doing his or her own job. You know, unlike if I just have to do my job without training anyone, I know when to do it. The time spent will be less than when I have to train someone at the same time do my job. So you are doing two things at a time. It might affect your output. Do we understand?
Yes.
The second one. Experienced employee may pass on bad habits to the new recruit. You know, I'm training an employee, a new recruit. I might, there are some things I do that is not even ideal for the job. I might as well pass it on to him. Do you understand? Because I am mentoring him or he's watching over what I do. These are on-the-job training, right? So if he or she sees the bad habits with me, he's going to do it or she's going to do it too.
So what's the best efficient method for automation?
You have to use all the methods available and find one that suits you most. Businesses must be willing, and businesses must have the must be able to adapt to different change circumstances. You don't just restrict your development into one aspect. You might have to practice, you might have to use on the job, off the job to really find out or figure out which one is best. Because both of them have their setbacks as well as their advantages or benefits. So businesses must be exposed to different aspects of different ways of development. There's no one that is best. Because every now and then there's always going to be dynamism. Things will change. As soon as things change, the business must be able to find the flexibility to adapt to changes. Do I answer the question? Good. The third one, staff may be demotivated if the training doesn't involve any form of compensation. So if I have to train, you see train down? No. Okay. If I have to train a new recruit and I'm not being paid for that, it's an extra work, yes or no? It is not part of, it wasn't part of the contract I signed. But now I have to train this new employee. If I'm not being paid for it, I might be demotivated. Do you get the point here? You are training someone and you're not being paid for it. It's your own knowledge. So you have to train someone and they're not compensating you. You might be demotivated. Do you understand the point there? And the last one, it will put the life of others in danger, especially for surgeons. So a new surgeon that is still training, you want him to carry on a surgery. That's difficult. It's putting someone's life at risk. Yes or no? Yes. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of on-the-job training. Any question about on-the-job?
No.
Thank you.